Our final recognition of the evening goes to Judy Rink Buckenmyer of the class of 1978.
Judy Rink Buckenmyer from the class of 1978 is being recognized posthumously in the area of education. She was salutatorian of her class at Adrian High School and voted Outstanding Senior Girl by her classmates. She completed her bachelor's degree in mathematics at Siena Heights College and graduated summa cum laude. Her master's degree in arts and teaching was completed at Miami University in secondary mathematics. Judy taught high school math for 35 years at 3 different school systems: Central Catholic in Toledo, Swanton High School in Ohio, and Lakota East High School in Liberty Township, Ohio. Her dedication to her students in and out of the classroom was unparalleled, and her passion for teaching went far beyond regular school hours. She cared deeply about her students and often attended their sporting events and musicals as one of their biggest supports. She baked them brownies for rewards, chaperoned proms, and grieved with them at time of loss. She also coached a number of different teams. Dr. Tim Husband, one of Judy's advisors at Siena, remembers her well, even after 43 years. He remembers her perpetual smile, her wit and wry sense of humor, and her playful sarcasm. He said she could turn a tense or frustrating learning situation into something humorous, so one could step back and look at it as an opportunity with reduced exasperation and other perspectives. He thought it was a marvelous trait that was simply part of her being. He added that she always treated everyone with respect and dignity. Her pastor from the church where Judy attended services said Judy invested in the lives of others throughout her selfless acts of love and generosity. When she saw a need, she found ways to meet it, like making sure children had socks for their feet and food in their stomachs. At the weekly food pantry where Judy served, she took time to invest in the lives of the clients and connect with others on a deeper relational level that made the clients feel loved and valued. Pastor added the world is a better place because of Judy. One of Judy's early peers described her as a teacher who diagnosed her students' grasp of algebra, geometry, and calculus lessons so that she could figure out where any missteps in their thinking process may have occurred in order to set them on a successful path of learning. She added, these exceptional teaching traits of hers were only the beginning of her impact on the young people she mentored. She was very interested in knowing her students well enough to understand their approaches to school and to learning. After Judy's passing in June of 2020, a scholarship was created for the students at Lakota East High School who represented what Judy stood for, service to others. One of the scholarship recipients said one of her favorite things about Mrs. Buck was her genuine care for others. She was always willing to take extra time to explain difficult concepts to us in class. She wanted to help others succeed. I'm going to pursue a career in occupational therapy. When a patient is suffering, I will display the same compassion toward them as they work, as Mrs. Buck showed to those she impacted. Another recipient said not only was she the best teacher, but also the kindest and most compassionate person I have ever met. I have never felt so comfortable in a hard class. Mrs. Buck taught math in a way where everyone with working eyes and ears could understand the subject, and she cared more about students' understanding over grades and point totals. She carried a servant's heart attitude with her everywhere, and it was clear to every stranger and friend that she was the type of person anyone could go to for just about anything. She was as good as it gets. One of 9 children, Judy was 8th in the birth order. She had many of her mother's characteristics. She was modest, generous, genuine, kind, patient, and intelligent. Her dry wit was a trait she inherited from her father. Judy quietly donated to charities, volunteered at a rescue shelter, worked in the food pantry at her church, started a sock drive for those in need, attended all of her children's events and other family events. She is sadly missed by all who had the opportunity to know her. Judy is survived by her husband Mike, affectionately known as Buck by many, and their daughter Leah, both of Liberty Township, Ohio, as well as her son Brad of Columbus, Ohio.
Congratulations to the Rink family. Accepting the award on behalf of Judy is her sister Susie Rink Arbaugh. Please come forward and accept the award, please.
Good evening. As she said, I'm Susie Arbaugh, one of Judy's sisters. And on behalf of Judy's husband, Mike, or Buck, as we call him, their children, Leah and Brad, and my siblings, Barb, Mary, Steve, Dave, Tom, and Laura, who are all here tonight except Tom because he lives in Oklahoma, I am honored to accept the Outstanding Alumni Award for my sister Judy, who is salutatorian of the class of 1978. Mike isn't here tonight because he's recovering from COVID and he wasn't up for the long 4-hour drive. Leah and Brad also live several hours away and their schedules didn't allow them to come, but they are here in spirit and so very proud of their mother. Mike's mom is here and sister and several other of Judy's relatives because we are so grateful that she was recognized for this honor. Judy, or Mrs. Buck, didn't like the limelight. She probably would have been a little embarrassed about being recognized and would have said something like, "Others have done so much more than I have, and I don't know why I am receiving this award." But those of us who knew her well know the kind of person she was and that she did plenty in her lifetime to be recognized as a distinguished alumnus. She would be very proud and humbled to receive this award. Judy was a Maple through and through. When Mike occasionally teased her about her high school nickname, Maples, she always just defended her alma mater and would respond with a witty comeback he couldn't top. She was born here and raised here and attended K through 12 and college here. Her roots will always be in Adrian. Judy's true legacy, however, is the 30-plus years she spent as an educator, molding thousands of students. She had a way of putting her students at ease, making difficult concepts easy to understand, and interjecting her humor and quick wit into the classroom. But her biggest contribution was showing her students how to give back to their school and community. She always said, "You don't need to be part of an organization to find a way to make a positive impact on others." Judy tried to instill her servant qualities in her students and led by example. Here are a few ways she did that. On multiple occasions, she encouraged her students to volunteer at Hands Against Hunger, and she always joined them as a volunteer. As Carla said, she organized a sock drive for the homeless, where over 500 pairs were donated by her students. She collected eyeglasses through the local Optimist Club that were sent overseas to underprivileged students. And using social media, she organized a food drive after 3 consecutive snow days to get food to students who were on reduced or free meal programs and had missed 6 meals due to the weather. And shortly before her death, she and Mike organized weekend breakfasts for underserved student athletes so they had proper nutrition when they weren't in school. Outside of school, she was no different. Judy was an active dog walker at the local shelter. When she started volunteering, Mike knew it wouldn't be long before there would be a new addition to their family. And I believe it was on day 2 of volunteering that she brought her beloved dog, Elliot, home. East Lakota High School and her church have continued Judy's legacy of food drives. In the 2 years of its existence, the Judy Buckenmyer Memorial Food Drive has collected over 12,000 pounds, or the equivalent of 6 tons, of food and personal items and raised over $5,000 for her church pantry. In addition, the Spirit of Lakota East Scholarship was created in Judy's memory. Last spring, 3 scholarships totaling $2,500 were awarded to deserving East Lakota seniors. Almost a year and a half after her death, Judy is still having an impact on people she knew and students she taught. She has definitely left a wonderful legacy in her community, and her work isn't done yet. One person really can make a difference. The Rink Buckenmyer families want to thank the selection committee and Jenny and Carrie and everyone else involved for including Judy in this group of outstanding alumni, and also congratulate the other recipients who are being honored tonight. And I'd like to close with something Judy often said because she cared so deeply for others. Love you, mean it. Thank you. I think so.